that we can, I'm hoping that we can make this a relatively brief meeting, because we do have the meeting tomorrow afternoon with the co-sponsored meeting with the Wellfleet Forum regarding the installation of the water main. So I was going to start this with kind of turning the meeting over to Jonathan Preisler to give us an update on a few things associated with the water system. Jonathan?
All right, hello everyone. So just following your agenda here, status of the generator repairs at the Boy Scout camp well field. The voltage regulator has been replaced and seems to be doing its job now. The voltage did level out as it should, but when placed under load, the generator is still shutting off. So the next step now is for South Shore Generator to perform a load test. Well, basically they're going to hook up some sort of device to the generator, which will be telling the generator to produce a bunch of electricity and see where it's faulting out. And it's going to help them further diagnose what needs to be done to correct the problem. Because right now, when we try to have the generator power, supply power to the plant, it just keeps shutting off. Meaning when we turn a well on to pump water, it is tripping out the generator. So more to follow on that. I will give an update once they perform that load test.
Any idea when they're going to get out there, Jonathan?
I gave them the green light, I think it was the end of last week. So I haven't heard back yet, and I will keep you posted, but
okay.
I don't know how much you want to talk about the water main installation, but
stay on the Boy Scout camp well site, and with the generator repairs there, we also have the issue with the with one of the wells there, correct?
yeah, at Coles Neck right now, one of the wells
at the Boy Scout camp wells.
Oh, yes. We still have one well down. Well 2 or B or whatever we're calling it is still out of service. A new VFD has been ordered and will be installed when it arrives by Cape Water Resources.
So just for Tom and Kateri here, just to make clear that you've heard about this well before, fairly recently, because there were some repairs done there. So the pump was replaced there, but the VFD was not. Is that correct, Jonathan?
Yes, the motor was replaced, not the pump, but yes, right. MAR pump replaced the motor in the ground, and now we are going to replace the VFD, which is inside the pump station, which is controlling the motor in the ground.
So we've had our share of repairs at that well site. So, okay. Tom?
This has been dragging on for quite a while, especially the deer and everything. What the hell's going on?
Well, if I may, Jonathan, what we had done was back in, whether this was November or December, there was when we had this issue with at that site with that well, we did replace, or South Shore, not so, Mahar came in and replaced the pump. Is that correct, Jonathan?
The motor.
Motor, right, sorry. And now what we found is that the VFD needs to be replaced as well. So the cost on that, I believe, is about $3,200. Am I correct, Jonathan?
Yeah, that was the quote from Cape Water Resources for the VFD and installation and everything associated with it.
It's really critical that we get this back online. So
The generator.
the generator, we had problems with during one storm where we lost power. We found that it was not operating. And that was with some fluid level, if I'm correct. So, is that true, Jonathan?
Yes, it was the coolant level sensor. The coolant wasn't actually low, but the sensor was shutting off the generator because it was saying that it was low. So even though it wasn't, that was tripping out the generator every time it tried to run. And then
So, go ahead.
since we corrected that issue, we further realized that we have more problems because once the generator would run for a longer period of time, the voltage was all over the place. So we corrected that issue now, but now it is still not staying on due to there's more diagnosis that need to take place because the problem isn't evident without, the next steps.
Do we have a sense of what this is going to cost us?
I don't have anything except for that load test quote at this point, and I don't think they're going to provide anything until they determine what the problem is. But I can reach out and try and get what the top couple issues could be and try to provide that to you.
Well, I'd like to know if we could get a kind of a sequential report from them of what the sequential issues have been with that, and what we've incurred to date, and what they anticipate going forward with this.
All right, I can reach out to them for that.
Okay.
Monitor that at all, or do we just wait for it to fail?
My advice is don't wait for it to fail because generators have sometimes up to a year lead time right now getting them in. So I wouldn't say that's the route to go.
Seems to be our pass route.
The other thing with that, Tom, is that generator is not that old. It was put in 2010.
That makes it even more depressing.
Yes. Okay. Anything more on the generator?
That's all I have.
I'm sorry, why don't you go ahead with where we are with the water main installation?
Yeah, so I stopped by out there on Briar Lane today, and I've been in touch with both the contractor Diggett and the inspector for EPG on a at least weekly basis over the past several weeks. To date, they have approximately 1,800 feet installed. They're almost all the way down Briar Lane now. They started at Main Street, and they're almost to the other end of Briar already. I expect them to be done probably later this week. So great progress there. No issues so far that I have heard of. And they're going to move across Route 6 up to Old Hay Road and start working towards Cole's next station. So that'll be sometime next week. They have to stay out of the Route 6 right away until March 15th.
Do you know, Jonathan, do you know who Environmental Partners has on staff now for their resident, I want to say inspector, or not an engineer, but do they have someone there daily that is?
Yes, they do.
And who is that person?
I believe his name is Chris, and I can send contact info along after this meeting if you would like.
Okay, that'd be great.
Jonathan, do they put taps or tie-ins in? The hole is already refilled, and would we have to dig up again? Context for them?
They won't, pending a good pressure test, they should not have to redig anything they already backfilled, with the exception of they install a chlorination tap at the beginning of the main where they're gonna put chlorine in when they chlorinate.
I saw that.
If that's gonna stay in the ground, it could be used as a service connection to a house on the corner there. I gotta look if that house has a water service already. They won't have to dig up the main anywhere except for where they're gonna go back and install all the, they have to tap all the main for all the services now. So they're gonna be poking holes along the route to install the services, but they won't be digging up the entire main again, pending
Oh,
good
right.
results from the pressure test.
How about the lateral for the fire hydrant there? I see it laid out the street.
Yeah, fire hydrants too will probably go in at that same time.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next item was the kind of the scope of work or the status of the Coles Neck well field.
Yeah, so we have, Whitewater has been, we've been out there running the wells, flushing them to waste just to remove water out of them over the past, I want to say, month and a half now. We started with chlorinating them. And just to be clear, everything is valved off from the system. So no water that is coming out of the wells is going into the distribution system. We started with chlorinating the wells, flushing them. I chlorinated them a second time, and then took TC samples, which came back clean. No coliform, no E. coli. So that's the current status there. We are going to take PFAS samples there, which will be the initial PFAS that we didn't take in last October because everything was still offline. And then the next steps will be it's basically like a seasonal startup that we need to do another inspection, take more bacteria samples again, submit to DEP, all the paperwork, so that water, we can then send water out into the system when they need to fill the main that they put in. And we had a meeting out there today, and I don't know how much detail you want to get into with that, Jim.
Well, I found it interesting because they were talking about, this was with environmental partners and Whitewater, and with Butch Nealon from Cape Water Resources. And we talked about what needs to happen there at that site to make this truly functional, the Coles Neck well field. And there are issues with the lines that run from the wells to the pump house there, and that we may need to increase or enlarge the pipe from the wells to the pump house, because the new water main will be an 8-inch water main. And we're currently, those are serviced by 2 or 4-inch. I don't recall which was it they were saying. What is it?
There's 2-inch lines.
So obviously those are very small relative to the size of the water main that's being installed. So the one of the recommendations is to increase the size of the line from the well to the pump house where the connection to the water main will take place.
Anybody there?
Yeah, sorry, John. Tom?
No, I just wondered if there was going to be a response from anyone.
The other thing that we need to do out there, and I have not had a chance since I got home to look at this, but to go back through the notes and see if we can find what the report was regarding the generator there. Because as you may recall, we do not have a generator operating there at that well field. And as I recall, that we couldn't make that one serviceable, but I don't have the details right at hand right now. So whether or not we have to replace the generator there, or whether or not we can make the existing one work. But Butch Nealon was there with us this morning, and he believes that that generator went in when when the SCADA system was installed there, and that is not that long ago. But I want to find information on that either in. Yeah. Any other questions on that? So tomorrow afternoon, we have the forum with the Wellfleet Forum, and we're going to be having an open meeting regarding the installation of the water main, what the plan is on that, because since they just started, the only thing that we have done to date was to announce this online with the Wellfleet Forum. It is on our website as well. And although I attempted to distribute some announcements regarding it to the folks on Briar Lane over the weekend, just alerting them to the fact that the construction would start there. I found out that Karen found that they had returned, the post office had returned those flyers because we put them in the I put them in the mailboxes, and apparently you have to have postage on them if you put it in the mailbox. So some of them got returned to us. I know some of the folks got them before they were retrieved by the post office, but we have not had any other calls or concerns about it, unless Karen, that you've gotten anything new since we last spoke. Are you there with it, Karen? I see that she's on mute at this point. All right. Well, but as far as I know, we're okay. I've not gotten any further emails, any questions on it. So we will be doing that meeting at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And the only other item that had on here was the APCC report, and whether or not we need to craft a response to that. I don't know if you, Kateri, or Tom have had a chance to look at that report that I sent out.
I did. Thought it was rather weird, but yeah, I did read it.
Since that report came out, I mean, there was an article that appeared in the Independent, Provincetown Independent, and I don't know if you had a chance to read that, but that was far more favorable to Wellfleet than the APCC report. They basically, in the Independent, acknowledged that that the report by APCC misrepresented what had actually happened, and we'd had some assistance from Whitewater on that, and actually the information that appeared in the Consumer Confidence Report that was prepared with the assistance of Whitewater was very clear about that this was a singular incident, that it happened over a period of several days, that we strictly followed the protocols that were required of us by DEP. So, that was back in 2020, in September. I think it started on September 23rd, 2020. I don't know if Eric or Steve, if either of you have anything to, um, to comment on that?
Where's everybody?
I see everybody's on mute here.
Hey, Jim, the only comment I would have was that, as you said, it was a singular event. We followed all the protocols of the drinking water regulations. And overall, the Wellfleet water system complies with all the drinking water regulations in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, just like every other water system down there. And when events like that happen, there's a process for following through on that. And to be categorized as a bad water supply, it's really a misrepresentation of what actually occurred and the true quality of the water system down there.
So for Kateri and Tom, I'd like to point out to you on that quote, poor rating that we were given was a rating that was developed by APCC, not by DEP. So that was something that they chose. That's how they chose to categorize this after they either misunderstood or misrepresented the actual facts associated with that incident. So,
Are those people and what authority do they have? Or are they just a volunteer group that likes to fight things?
they are a not-for-profit. They exist on the Association for the Preservation of Cape Cod. And they do get involved with a number of environmental issues. And it's unfortunate that the way they describe this report, as Wellfleet being the only town on Cape Cod that had poor water quality, based on that consumer confidence report that somebody obviously didn't read carefully. So
I thought it was like, if I have a car that has a flat tire one time, I don't think it's a bad car. I didn't get the connection they made.
I'm not sure either, but I'm not sure that we necessarily want to give them any more oxygen,
Right.
by bringing it back up, dragging it back up in the news. It was very clearly and fully reported last year when this incident happened. So, and I think that as far as I'm concerned, the Independent gave a very fair assessment of the status of that. And it was very favorable, in my opinion, was favorable to Wellfleet. So it's my recommendation that we not take it any further at this point, unless you feel differently.
I agree.
Hi, it's Kathy. Am I coming through?
You are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I liked that article in the Independent. I thought it really was in depth, and I mean that should settle it, I would hope.
So, right. Well, I would agree. So there's nothing more on that. Then that really runs through the agenda that I had for today. I did want to talk about some future business that we need to bring up at our next meeting. And one of them is that we need to get back to this, the issue of establishing reviewing the financial protocols for the water system, come up with a financial plan and a rate structure that's workable, because clearly, as we're expanding the system, it's important that we know what we're going to be offering people, how much it's going to cost them, and we want to base this on the recommendations from the consultant that we're working with now. So I would like to bring this back up at the next meeting to review the issue of connection fees and usage rates when we next meet. So that's one item on the agenda. Obviously, I assume we may be talking about anything that comes out of the forum tomorrow, which again is at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And the information on that is online on the town website. So we do have a couple sets of minutes that we need to approve. There were the minutes of December 7th and December 21st. So I'll take the minutes of December 7th first, if there's no objection. And let's see.
I'll move.
And well,
Accept.
actually, I don't know that we can because Tom wasn't with us at that meeting.
Oh, okay, okay, so we'll have to
So
look at-
we'll have to hold on that one.
or how about the next one?
And on yeah, Tom was there for the 121st.
Okay, so I'll move for that one.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second, okay.
Second.
Okay. So we will take a vote then on that. Catherine,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes, yes.
and I agree, yes, okay. And so those minutes pass for the three of us. So that's it on the minutes for today. So if we see our next meeting, I would like to try to do this fairly quickly at the when I say quickly, I mean within 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today would be the
February 1st,
sorry,
February 1st.
yeah, if that's possible.
Yeah, sure, okay.
All right. Okay, good. So that's it. That's all that I have, unless Eric or Steve or Jared or Jonathan, any of you have anything else that you want to mention before we close the meeting?
I have nothing to offer, Jim.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, all right.
No, just good to see you all, and we'll work on wrapping up on some of the open action items and clarification related to the generator, the VFD repairs, and some of the work related to Coles Neck.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. So we'll-
Jonathan, I'll be in touch about the, I'll look back through the minutes of our previous meetings regarding the generator as well as anything I find in the files about that.
Yeah, I know I have reports of what they do each time they come. They leave us a copy of it, but I'm gonna ask them to put together, one email of everything they've done with copies of all the invoices and everything.
Good, I appreciate that. And I'll look for any information we might have on file about the Coles Neck generator.
All right,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move,
Second, okay. Roll call vote. Catherine,
yes.
Tom? Yes, he said yes, and I vote yes as well.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you, everybody, and I hope you can join us tomorrow afternoon for the Wellfleet Forum / the Board of Water Commissioners presentation
all right.
on installation of water main.
Yeah, is Kurt going to be there tomorrow?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, how about Noah?
okay.
All
Thank
right,
you,
thank you.
Tomorrow.
thank you.